Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation. The 5 points I discuss are packaging, presentation, posability, playability, and price. I'm Jason, and I'm back for part 3 of my Marvel Legends Stilt-Man Wave series. I've already looked at Spider-Gwen and Frog-Man, so now it's time to turn our attentions to Spider-Man himself, and out of the two that we have as our options, today we're going to be looking at Miles Morales. Taking a look at the package, we can see that Miles comes in a similar box to Gwen, into the Spider-Verse logo here and up here, with Miles and Miles to go. A Brooklyn native and just 13 years old, Miles Morales is a Spider-Man unlike any we've ever seen before. That's true, because the original was 15. Once again, we have the other figures that we need to complete Stilt-Man. One thing I haven't pointed out is that all of these blocks have been different colors on the different figures. Just like with Frog-Man, no straps or anything, so he'll pop right out. Oh, I dropped him. That is not what I meant by a leap of faith. But nothing to fear, Miles is fine, and so is this box. All the other ones have been 1 point, so it's no surprise that this one is also 1 whole point. Moving on to presentation, we can see that Miles is just a little bit over the 5.5-inch mark thanks to his hair. And once again, an incredible likeness. I can't help but wonder if Hasbro even sculpted these or if Sony just gave them the digital renders. This looks just like him. It would have been so easy for Hasbro just to put him in a regular Spider-Man costume, but they went the whole nine and gave him a jacket and a hoodie. Both of those are separate pieces, by the way. Really nice effect it gives. The hoodie does seem to actually be glued down, though. I love this kind of peacock green color of the outer jacket. The red hoodie inside really pops and ties in nicely with the logo. We can see a really nicely detailed spider suit underneath with his logo kind of spray painted over. Same detailing on his hands and also on his calves. Nicely sculpted shoes, really boring paint job. I can't be sure, but I thought that in the movie they were Nikes, but I'm sure they probably couldn't get the rights to use that. Still, some painted laces would have really popped. No treads on the bottom of the feet, but he does have peg holes. This is a completely new sculpt with a fantastic paint job. In terms of sculpt and likeness and paint, this is pretty much import quality. It's really as if Miles just jumped right out of the movie. I would have liked to have seen some painted shoelaces, but for all I know, that's how they looked in the movie, and really that is not going to distract from what an incredible figure this is. For presentation, 1 whole point. Moving on to posability, Miles' head is actually on a barbell joint. The whole thing actually comes off. Oh, what's that? There's this kind of weird hexagon texture on the ball. Could this be a clue for WandaVision? All joking aside, it's a little bit jarring at first, but creates an incredible range of movement. Moving on, his arm comes up only about 90 degrees. It's also on a single jointed swivel hinge, kind of like the Spider-Gwen. Only one difference. Snaps the other way. The wrists are on a swivel disc, but because of these cuffs, it's really hard to move them around. Down that much, up that much. As you can see, Miles does have an ab crunch, and his waist is also on a ball joint. Using both together, he can hunch over this far forward and this far back. That ball jointed waist is also really handy for his legs. Using both together, he can sideways kick that far, but not much forward and not much back. He has a thigh cut underneath the cuff of the shorts, and of course all the ankle articulation you could want. He's so slight and spindly, but all the articulation you could really want is there. I think he would have benefited a lot from a boot cut, but really that's just nitpicking. For posability, Miles gets 1 whole point. Moving on to playability, Miles comes with this extra head and hands as well as this backpack for Stilt-Man. You're going to really want to make sure you keep these in a safe place because they are tiny. You'll also notice that the head has that extra dumbbell piece in it, so you will not be able to use this on any figure but Miles Morales. Swapping out that head, though, you can see it looks absolutely fantastic, and the paintwork is pretty crisp. A little bit of slop there, but unless you're zooming in on a camcorder, you're really never going to notice. Playability is, of course, more than just accessories. It's also about how well your figure plays with others. Here he is with Gwen Stacy and Spider-Ham from Into the Spider-Verse, and of course they look great together. Hey! Until we get a complete costume Peter B. Parker, here he is next to Pizza Spidey. To be honest, I don't know if you'll be able to fudge him into a comic book display just because of how extreme Miles' proportions are. I don't have any other Miles Morales Spider-Mans to compare him to, unfortunately. But if you're interested, here's how he stacks up next to the comic book Spider-Man Noir, and one other individual who made a very special appearance in the... Oh. Well, he is dead. And one other individual who made a very special appearance in the movie.
It always fits, eventually.
So yeah, if I'm not going to dock Frogman points for only having a couple of accessories, I'm definitely not going to penalize Miles. He's a completely new sculpt. He has fists, flipping hands, and a masked head. All you can really ask for a Spider-Man. For playability, he gets 1 whole point. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price. Considering how brutal the aftermarket value is for the comic book versions, $20 to $25 is a steal. This might be the only version of Miles available for a while, so I definitely recommend scooping him up. For price, he gets 1 whole point for a grand total of 5 out of 5. So, in review, packaging, great Marvel Legends box, fantastic all-new sculpt, great paint apps, nice and crisp, incredible likeness of Miles Morales from the movie. It's like he jumped right out of the screen. I'd compare his articulation to one of the more petite female figures, like Spider-Gwen or Jubilee. That might be considered a little limited for some, but for me, I think it's fantastic, especially when you consider what a tiny frame he has. With a little imagination, he might work in your comic book collection, but I don't know. But with a sequel to Into the Spider-Verse on the horizon, I'm sure he'll have way more characters to play with very soon. $20 to $25 is nothing compared to the aftermarket value for the comic book version, so if you can get him, go for it. Just to let you know, I might be taking a little break from this wave to kind of look at some other figures. If you're curious about what those figures are, I just uploaded a video unboxing a couple and previewing some other ones I have waiting in the wings. Check out that video, and while you're at it, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube rigmarole. I'll be back real soon to finish out this wave, and until then, have fun.